everyone, Danielle here for day 2 of our March 2013 release week. There are going to be 3 new sets released this week at Neat and Tangled. Yesterday was day 1 and you guys saw the On the Strip 2 stamp set. It's kind of the follow-up to the original On the Strip, which was released back in January. Is super popular, one of my favorite sets personally, and so this is kind of the second edition of that. And today you're going to get to see another new set. This is a smaller set. It is a 3x4 and it is called Just Thinking of You. And this is what it's going to come with. It has this larger kind of speech or thought bubble. A lot of girls also use it as a cloud. It looks just like a cloud as well, so you're going to get a lot of use out of it. You're going to get this sweet little heart, the Thinking of You sentiment, which is, you know, my handwriting, so it's unique and one of a kind, and I really love how it turned out. And then you're going to get the smaller bubbles that if you wanted to turn this into like a, you know, thought bubble, you could use to lead up to it. Or you could use them to create patterns or whatever you want. And so I'm going to stamp them all out for you and kind of show you how they look, what the sizes are, and some ideas that I had in mind when I was creating this set. And so here we go. The first one I'm going to stamp for you is the bigger cloud or speech or thought bubble. And obviously it's kind of like the idea behind the set was actually a doodle that I have. I always carry around notebooks and sketchbooks and just, you know, scrap paper, and if I'm in the waiting room or sitting in the car waiting to pick up my son or whatever, I just doodle or jot down ideas. And so I just thought this was kind of like a funny, you know, little kind of a punny punny set, because it's like a thought bubble and it says thinking of you. Haha, I know, so funny, right? So here is the cloud or speech or thought bubble, whatever you want to use it as. And I love my sketchbook, and I love the look of sketches, kind of the, you know, not such a finished, I don't know how to describe it, not such a finished computer generated illustration. I really like the look of, you know, really hand-drawn things, and so it's a particular style. It's not for everybody, that's for sure, which is why it's so nice to have such a variety of stamp companies out there, so you can get a little bit of everything. And so that's kind of like the style that I like to create and that I'm drawn to, obviously, is that really hand-drawn, sketchy kind of feel. And so today's set and the set tomorrow definitely have that sketchbook vibe to it, which I really like, and which is just, it's just me, you know, that's what I do, and that's what I'm, you know, most comfortable creating. And so blah blah blah, here we go. So here's the cloud, or speech or thought bubble, whatever you want to use it as, and it's a nice good size, and you can see in the cards from the samples today that the girls use this particular image in a whole bunch of different ways. So you have a lot of options with regards to that. You don't just have to use it in a traditional way that you would think of. So that is that. I'm trying to find a smaller block, but here we go. All my blocks are currently occupied with dirty stamps, as usual. So next up I'll do the little heart. And this, I'm really just happy with this, with how this heart turned out. It's kind of just like the, I don't know, perfect little heart. And I'll stamp it up here. Oh, of course. I hate, excuse me, I hate this block though. It's like one of those cheapy little dollar store blocks. And I just never, I can never stamp really well with it. It's probably just user error, but anyway, so don't look up here, look away. Here is the little heart, and it's nice and solid, and I love how the girls incorporated it into their cards today. You'll have to forgive me, I've been up since 5 o'clock. My son just keeps waking up earlier and earlier every day, and so I'm hoping that this weekend when we turn the clocks forward that he doesn't wake up any earlier, that it stays the same. So at least instead of waking up at 5, he'll be waking up at 6. That'll at least get me an hour. Anyway. And then I'm gonna do these the little bubbles for you. So to explain the bubbles, obviously they're gonna, with the idea of, you know, thinking of you, they're supposed to lead up to the cloud, so it's like, you know, like a thought bubble, like you would see in a cartoon or whatever. So I went back and forth about a bajillion times, debating whether or not I wanted each of these little circles to be individual or one stamp. And there are 3 different sizes, smallest to largest, and I just couldn't decide because I like to give you as many options as you can with the stamps. And so all I kept thinking was, if I make it one stamp, they're going to have to stamp it like this, otherwise they'll have to reverse stamp it, or they would have to go small to large, which I'm not really crazy about. That's not how I really intended it to be. Or, you know, what if they liked the little circles on their own and they wanted to create like a bubble pattern? Blah, blah, blah. That's my like ADD brain going in a million different directions. So I did it as 3 separate stamps, and some of you are going to be like, oh, that's great, I love it. And then some of you are going to be like, I hate it. Why in the world would she do such a stupid thing? But can't make everybody happy. So I'm going to stamp these out. I'm going to show you a trick I have for lining them up if you want to be OCD about your stamping. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm actually just going to take the 3 of them off. I'm not really going to worry about their orientation. Oh my god, that's my cats fighting. Can you hear that? It's that time of night, and I apologize. Just what I wanted for the video. Anyway, so if you wanted to be OCD and really get them to line up just perfectly, what I would do, and what I have done for cards, is I actually take my, oh my god, seriously? I don't want to have to yell at them, but... Alright, I'm trying to ignore the cats, but they're so loud. Alright, so what I would do is, I would just, and I'm going to do this on the cardstock for the sake of this little tutorial, mini tutorial, but I would just put it down on the acetate sheet down on your table, put your block on top of it, and then you can actually just take the little individual stamps and you can line them up right on top of it. Now it might not be perfect because it's hard because the block is a little bit, you know, thicker, so it kind of distorts it a little bit, but that's a good way to get them to line up if you really, really liked how I had them arranged there. Then you could do that. So I'll stamp them this way, so you could have them coming down like this, or you could just as easily flip it around so that they went in the opposite orientation, so that however you wanted it on your card, you could accommodate. Or what you could do, and I think is fun, is just kind of arrange them kind of random on your or randomly on your block like this. I'm surprised they haven't killed each other in all these years. And then you could just kind of take them and, you know, flip them around and rotate them and make a fun little you know, pattern or background. You could do different colors or whatever. You could stamp them with black and then color them in. Lots of options with just those, you know, little stamps. Sometimes we forget about those little stamps that we have. And then last but not least, I will show you the sentiment, which is thinking of you. And I'm really happy with how how my writing translated into this stamp, and it fits really nicely inside of the cloud. It's nice because the cloud is big enough that it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to like perfectly line it up. There's room to wiggle on the inside of this cloud. So like, you know, sometimes I feel like stamps that go together, if you don't line it up just perfect, then it like stamps over or on top of, or it looks super crooked. But you know, this is very organic feeling, and so you can stamp it right in the middle, and you have room kind of all around the edges so that you don't have to worry about it getting it perfectly centered inside of that cloud. Okay, so those are all the stamps in the set. So it is a smaller set. It's a 3x4 set. It's going to retail for $8. It'll be available on Thursday. And before you guys go, I just wanted to talk sequins for a minute.